Well, now in the rather more aristocratic Mayfair district of London. This street you're on now is called Savile Row. Like Carnaby Street, where we were earlier, it's famous for clothes shops. That's where similarity ends. We're talking of more upmarket here in Savile Row. Very high-class tailors' establishments. Most of the tailors' shops, like this one, have the royal coats of arms in the window. This they supply the royal family on a regular basis. Known as a royal warrant to the high-class street this is. I also want to point out the building behind us, the other side of the road there. It's West End Central Police Station. Its relevance to the Beatles will become more apparent when we talk about them the other end of the street. Let's go to number 3, Savile Row, for the last ever live performance. Remember where the police station was though? This way. Okay, this is number 3, Savile Row, and from 1968 to the mid-1970s, this building was owned by the Beatles to house the Apple group of companies. The Beatles started Apple really for tax reasons. So at the time they were paying 95% tax. Hence the George Harrison song, Tax Man, where I sang There's One For You, 19 for me. That's exactly how it was at the time. So that the tax man got hold of all their money, decided to invest it in their own company. So they started Apple. I think through Apple, wanted to help fellow artistic people get started in their industries. I knew from experience, most artistic people had to go to lawyers and accountants, or men in suits, as John put it, to get money and advice. They thought it would be better for all these people, kind of fellow artistic people, if you understand their needs a lot more. That's the idea anyway. Didn't work out in practice. So when John and Paul went to America in 1968 to promote the company, everyone wanted a proper plan for it. So what came across in the interviews they gave was the Beatles had several £1 million to give away to anyone who wanted it. This wasn't the idea at all. Also didn't help the Beatles ran the company in a very laid-back manner. Anyone could come in off the street and make an appointment to the Beatle in sort of harebrained scheme they may have. Lots of strange people duly arrived. Including a couple of Hell's Angels, arrived from San Francisco in 1968. They're called Frisco Pete and Billy Tumbleweed. They terrorised the staff during their stay here. There's also a family of hippies living here for a while, wanted to start a hippie commune with John and Yoko in the Fiji Islands. And all their children used to run around the building, completely stark naked from room to room, just causing chaos. Went it around very quickly. The best parties in London were held here at 3 Savile Row virtually every day. So all comers are given food and drink. The drinks bill came to several £1,000s a month. There's a great book about the early Apple period called The Longest Cocktail Party. The book was written by a guy called Richard DeLillo. His official job title at Apple was the house hippie. I think it really sums up the whole philosophy of the company. That's the employ a house hippie. Which around the time Apple was its most wasteful, the Beatles embarked on a new musical project, this is called Get Back. The original idea was going to record a new album with a difference. When they filmed themselves rehearsing for the album, then play it live in front of a huge concert audience. So get a new album out of it, but a film and a concert too. They started rehearsals for the concert at Twickenham Film Studios in early January 1969. Things are going badly from the start. It's a terrible place to make music. Huge great film studio. The Beatles had to start about 9 o'clock in the morning to fit in on the film crew. We like making music at night time. Everything they did was filmed, including private conversations, or should I say arguments, as to what was going on. In fact, George Harrison walked out on the group for a while, and he came back, the idea about a big concert was dropped. So instead of doing a concert, they decided instead just carry on recording. Instead came to the new Apple studio down in the basement here at 3 Savile Row. But still things weren't going well. There's a picture of the Beatles listening to some of the songs they just recorded. Look at those kind of expressions on their faces. So things weren't going well at all. But I think it's time to placate Paul McCartney. Wanted to do something live somewhere, but more importantly, a sort of climax for the film they were making, the one last live performance. Did it on the rooftop here. It's on the roof and started playing on January the 30th, 1969. It wasn't announced in advance again to do it. Just got on the roof and started playing. There's no vantage point from down here either. They couldn't be seen, but they could certainly be heard. From the loudest concerts they'd ever given. Because by 1969, sound systems and amplifiers had gone a lot louder and they gave up touring. And as Paul McCartney put it, wanted to blast out the West End. That was certainly achieved. Lots of people started gathering in Savile Row, watching what on earth was going on. This is the last straw for the local tailors. The tailors didn't want the Beatles on their doorstep in the first place. So the hippies and the Hells Angels coming to the street, either clientele that buy suits in Savile Row tailors. So either a tailor, could have been the manager of the bank, used to be across the road there, they called the police, try and get the concert stopped. As you saw earlier, the police station is only 150 yards away at most. What rather surprised me, the police took so long to come. The Beatles actually played for about 40 minutes that day. The police station's, 5 minutes walk at the most. There's some Beatles fans down there as well. I guess in the end the pressure was too great. Too many complaints were made. The police did finally arrive. But as of disappointment to the Beatles, they weren't arrested. As Ringo starts on the Beatles anthology, he's hoping to be dragged off his drum stool by a policeman and carted down to the police station. Didn't get their wish. They had to finish the last song they were playing, which of course rather ironically, Get Back. It all finished when John Lennon came to the microphone and said, "I'd like to thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves. Hope we passed the audition." A rather strange way of ending their last ever live show. That's what it became. They broke up about a year or so later. But the resulting film didn't come out until after they broke up. Initial title, Get Back, is rather inappropriate. They changed the title to Let It Be, and the last Beatles album and film to be released. Here's a picture of the Beatles on the rooftop that very day, looking down from above. People actually climbing on roofs all the way around here. Since people on top of the chimney stack, this tall building here. It's the building the other side of the road. See how tall it is? Very cold, windy day that day. It's rather precarious being so high up. If I was around that day, I'll be up there too. As you can see, Anne here was adjoining rooftops. This is a close-up picture taken on the roof itself. In fact, it's such a cold day that both Ringo and John had to borrow their wives' coats to keep themselves warm. Absolutely freezing cold. Suppose they had any music at all in such conditions. Looks like we'll finally get Let It Be on DVD. Might not be until 2007 is the latest estimate. Going to be a long time coming, but at least they're working on it. Going to have loads of extras on as well. All the footage they shot for the film still exists to this day. It will be released eventually, but might not maybe for over a year. Okay, the next place we're going to see is where John met Yoko for the first time. Give you time for pictures here first, but we can't go and see.